Good morning everyone. Today I'm going to give a presentation on food safety management system focusing on ISO 22000 version 2018. My presentation today consists of three parts. Part 1 is about the PDCA cycle and process approach in the ISO 22000, and then I will touch on HACCP in part 2, and part 3 is about Codex Alimentarius. HACCP and Codex Alimentarius are very closely related to ISO 22000. In fact, it is one of the requirements in ISO 22000 to implement HACCP, and then the principle of Codex Alimentarius actually form the basis behind the standards ISO 22000. Let's look at the part 1 on the PDCA cycle and process approach in ISO 22000. ISO 22000 is developed by International Organization for Standardization. It's a food safety management system. Its principle is based on the HACCP and Codex Alimentarius systems. It gives comprehensive procedures in food handling, preparation, and storage of food. The standard uses the process approach, which incorporates the PDCA cycle and risk-based thinking. The main objective of ISO 22000 is to provide guidance to produce end products that are safe for consume. The benefit of ISO 22000 that will bring to a food industry will include enhanced food safety, better use of resources, timely response to problems, comply to regulatory requirements, and comply to specific food safety management system requirements. Now I'll talk about PDCA cycle and process approach in ISO 22000. PDCA means plan, do, check, and act. It means that you plan your process, you set your objective, you know what is your resources, and then you identify the risk and opportunity. And then you implement what has been planned, and you evaluate the performance by monitoring and analyzing. And finally, you act to improve the performance of your process. Process approach is seen as a management strategy, where business is seen as a system of process, it's not as a departments or people or products. The activities are broken down into processes, and each process is managed according to the procedure in the ISO standards. PDCA is then incorporated into each process. This slide shows how the production in a bread manufacturing factory is broken down into individual processes, and then the PDCA cycle is applied in each process. So just like the procurement of raw material, you make planning for what and when to buy, and then you buy, you check the quality whether they meet your criteria, and then you look for opportunity for improvement. And the same principle is applied to other processes like kneading, baking, quality control, and staff training. HACCP is a systematic approach to identify hazards and the establishment of control measures. It's a requirement under ISO 22000 to implement HACCP. Critical Control Point or CCP is defined as steps in a process at which food safety hazards are most likely to happen if not effectively controlled. Usually, Decision tree is used as a strategy to identify the CCP. Example of CCP may include like a thermal processing, chilling, and testing ingredients for chemical residues. Once the CCP have been identified, critical limit is set as acceptance criteria for the CCP. Control measures are very essential at CCP to eliminate or reduce the food safety hazard to an acceptable level. This is an example of using a decision tree to identify CCP in the production of skim milk, where we want to know whether the pasteurization steps in the production of skim milk is a CCP. Basically, in the CCP decision tree, there are 4 standard questions to be asked. The first question is, do control measures assist at this particular step? Second question, is the step specifically designed or eliminate or reduce the likely occurrence of a hazard to an acceptable level? Third question, could contamination with identified hazard occur in excess of acceptable level, or could this increase to an acceptable level? And the fourth question, will the subsequent step eliminate identified hazard or reduce the likely occurrence to an acceptable level? So in the case of skim milk production, the answer to the first question is yes, and answer to the second question is also yes. So this confirms that the pasteurization in the skim milk production is actually a CCP. Now I will talk about the importance of Codex Alimentarius in the food industries. Codex Alimentarius is a set of internationally recognized standards, code of practice and guidelines relating to food, food manufacturing and food safety. It covers all food, either it is raw, semi-processed and processed. It's a joint food safety program maintained by FAO and WHO. It covers labeling, food hygiene, food additive, pesticide residues and procedures for assessing the safety of food. They also provide guidelines for import and export inspection and certification system for foods. ISO 22000 is actually based on the principle of Codex Alimentarius. So why is Codex Alimentarius important? Because it contributes to the safety and quality of food. It's a fair practice in the international food trades. It serves as a basis for local registration. It protects consumer health by setting standards for food safety measures. As an international reference standard for the resolution of disputes concerning food safety and consumer protection, it reduces barriers to trade by having harmonized standards in food safety requirements, and it raises awareness about food hazard in global community. Each year, millions of people fall sick because of unhygienic or unsafe food. Therefore, it's crucial for the food industry to implement a food safety management system, as it can prevent this kind of outbreaks and save a company thousands of dollars. ISO 22000 and Codex Alimentarius are 2 internationally well-known standards developed to harmonize the requirements in food safety management. Implementing a food safety management system has become necessary for food industry to sustain in today's competitive market. Thank you for your attention.